Since I got the thing out of the way, let's go for a ride. Just make sure everything's locked up. I have this like habit of always like triple checking like my bag, making sure nothing's coming out. Here we go. I'm not really too sure where we're gonna go, but we're gonna figure it out. But anyway, yeah. So pretty much I ended up taking out the brand new Indian Scout, Bobber, whatever you want to call it, for a little test ride. And when I tell you, probably the worst thing about that bike is how it hits bumps. That rear suspension is so tight and it's so stiff. It just destroys your tailbone and your lower back, like really bad. I remember just taking it out and I kind of just hit the bump because I would have never really thought about like not hitting it or like going around it. I just wanted to see what would happen, and the first thing I felt was just like the shock of like my whole lower back just getting like electrocuted. And I'm a pretty big guy, so like I can understand if it wasn't like adjusted, whatever. But I don't think it should have been that bad, because when I tell you that shit hurt, oh, man, that shit it really hurt. Versus this bike, you can take bumps, no problem. You don't feel it. It's not that big of an issue. And I wasn't going super fast when I hit that bump either. I was going probably about maybe 30, maybe, nothing too crazy. Because I know it was back road, so it could have been even less than that. But the suspension in this bike is very forgiving. You don't have to really worry about hitting bumps, going around. You can do whatever you want pretty much. Even if you stand up, like, even better. Eventually I wanted to get the stilettos at some point, but that'll probably be done somewhere in the future. No rush. But another good thing about this bike too is, as you guys can see, I have the tack, and it was not extra. It comes with the bike when you buy the bike, which I don't understand why they even take out the tack. I feel like if you have a bike or any newer bike, it should always come with everything that you need. So including the tack, the speedometer, gas gauge, and just everything that you want. I do wish that this bike had like some type of GPS so I didn't have to use my phone, but honestly it's not that big of a deal. And I never knew that actually under the seat that I have, there's actually like a little like phone port that you could charge your phone with. So if you was going cross country or something in this bike, you could charge your phone and use the GPS on your phone at the same time. It's not that you don't have to come and buy all these power banks and stupid stuff like that. And then always you can't ever forget the affordability of this bike. This bike, like I think I said it already, I want to say I only spent like 10 to 11,000, like 11,000 with all the extra stuff and all the fees and the whatever you got to pay for. When you put it next to the Scout Bobber, $2,000 to $3,000 extra on top of what I paid for it, I don't feel like you don't really get the same value, especially with all the features that this one comes with. And I'm not 100% sure too, not all of the bikes have ABS. So if you wanted to get like the whole package, I think it costs more than the 13, because the 13 only gives you just the bare minimum. It doesn't give you like all the features. It doesn't give you the ABS. You don't have any of the updated technology that these other bikes are coming with. So I know the Sportster, it does come with everything, but unfortunately not the Scout. If you wanna be comfortable, you have to pay for it, I guess. And pretty much the reason why I didn't buy the Harley is, number one, obviously like the price is like not even comparable to the Honda. Number two, I came from riding the Katana, and I really do enjoy like the mid controls instead of the forward controls. I kind of have short legs and they don't really stretch that far, and just for like my preference, and I'm not sure if this typically isn't true for everybody, but I generally like the mid controls. It makes it feel a little bit more sporty too, because it kind of rips like a sport bike almost, if you think about it. I'll see if I can rip it somewhere. And honestly, from factory, the bike doesn't sound too bad. Like the exhaust is, it's nice, just the slow, not like over the top, and it's not like super quiet either. I did want to get a new slip-on though. I was thinking either the Kaufman, the Thunder, or whatever it's called, or just getting the Gem Speed 3. I did like the Kaufman and how it sounds, but I do like how the Gem Speed looks. I think it looks like a lot nicer. I'm not really a big fan of the shorty exhausts or whatever you want to call them. I feel like the Gem Speed, it kind of looks like a full exhaust. I don't think you would even realize that it was just like a slip-on. It kind of just feels like it was made like that, like it came from the factory like that. I was looking at the Vance & Hines too, but like I felt like the Vance & Hines was like a little underwhelming. I'm not 100% sure if I was actually gonna like it or not. So I was, just looking around. I think I am gonna go with the Gem Speeds though. So my next paycheck, when I feel like blowing it, go ahead and buy that. Oh, and did I forget this bike also has cruise control? Not sure if we talked about that yet. I'm almost for certain that the Scout did not have any cruise control. Like I said, it didn't have really any technology. It was kind of like an old school bike, but I don't feel like you really get the value. Like I said, you don't get the value in buying that bike compared to what this has. So let's see, slap in cruise control. You hit this little button right here, press down, and cruise control, no problems. Keeps up. This is probably like the most comfortable I've been riding the bike. I could ride the bike no hands, no problem. It's a lot of fun on the highway, let me tell you. I definitely didn't miss the sore wrist from the Katana. What else it has? Oh, and the different like driving modes. So as you can see, my bike is very dirty. I haven't cleaned it yet because I was scared that the pollen was gonna take over my bike, but I did ride it in the rain a couple times, so it kind of washed it a little bit, but it has all these like sick modes. So like when I get stuck in rainstorms, which happened last week because my car ended up breaking down and I had to take the motorcycle to the nursing home, which sucks, but what are you gonna do? It has all these like sick modes. So like I have a rain mode, so pretty much what you're looking at here is you can see like, I'm gonna say P stands for power, T is traction, and EB is engine brake. So when you're in the rain, you cut off the power, so you're not ripping on it when it's raining, and you get like the max traction too, which is like super convenient, because like the last thing you want to do is like dump your bike because it's raining, like a little bit of water. And then it has standard, which is like kind of like a good mix between all of them. And let's see what else it has. I want to say it has Sport is next. Yep. So we got Sport, which is all power, no traction, engine braking, perfect for burnouts and whatever you guys like to do. And then my personal favorite is just User. You could customize it. I don't know how you do it, but you could just make it however you want it. But I just left it how it is. I like, you know, all the stats filled. If I was gonna change it, I would probably like turn the engine brake down, but I don't think it's like too bad to like really mess with it. I think it, you know, it works fine. I've been using it since I had the bike. Actually, that's not even true, because once I first got the bike, I took a little break when I sold the Katana, or like in between selling the Katana and this bike. I had about a year of not riding, so I kind of like literally forgot how to ride for a little bit. So when I first got the bike, I just kind of left it in rain mode and rode it up until I got comfortable, and then when I was ready to ride, went ahead and, you know, took it off, put it on standard mode, and then once I was ready, I slapped it into sport mode, and now I'm on user mode. So anybody that was like looking at bikes, and if you really wanted to get this bike for your first bike, technically you could. You really could. Like I said, I put it in rowing mode. It's not, you know, it doesn't really do too much. It doesn't go crazy. I know in user mode it's pretty quick, surprisingly quick. I remember when I first bought it, I didn't realize how fast this bike was actually going to be. I think it actually beats the Bobber, and when I test rode the 1200, I know it is definitely slower than this bike for sure, which doesn't make any sense, but you know, is what it is, I guess. But yeah, you could literally put this bike in rain mode, drive it for like a couple of years, and it has enough power where you're not gonna be, you know, searching for power, but like it's controllable. You don't have to go too crazy driving it. Yeah, I think rain mode saved me like from spilling it a couple times. Got my homie right here. What's up, man? Or if you wanted to get like the 500, that's a pretty good option too. I think the best way to put it is, I know this 1100 is a little bit bigger than the 3 and the 500. I want to say that the 3 and the 500 share the same like chassis, I guess you could call it, while the 1100 is a little bit bigger. I remember sitting on it, and it kind of felt like a toy compared to this one. I was actually super surprised when I did find it, because I never actually took this bike on a test ride before I bought it. I kind of just bought it because they had such a good deal on, and when I financed it, they had the $5.99 whatever financing for your interest rate. So I thought, you know, I said to myself, I'm getting a way better deal, even if the bike isn't faster than the Scout. I still make up for it, because I don't think I would have got the same deal buying an Indian. But like I said, why I'm so happy that I did buy this, I think this bike is faster than the Scout. Compared, you know, when you line this bike up with the Scout, it just doesn't feel as nice as this bike does. Honestly, that bike is probably meant for people that kind of like the older styles of riding, like, you know, like motorcycle clubs and cracking people over the head with beer bottles and shit like that, and doing burnouts at the lake and stuff. So if you're into that, you'd probably really like the Scout over this bike if you like cracking bottles over people's heads. But I feel like just the Honda is such a better and more smarter choice compared to that bike. But hopefully in the future, when I get rich, when I get all these subscribers, that, you know, maybe I'll buy the Sportster. Who knows? But my dream bike, probably the either the Ducati Diavolo or the other sport bike. I sat on both. Those two bikes probably had to be like the most comfortable bike I've ever sat on. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the height or the seat, and I think it's the V4. I think I'm talking about the red one. For a sport bike, it didn't feel like it was like super tall. Like I know that bike is probably about like 32 inches or so, somewhere around there. It just didn't really feel like it. Like it didn't feel like as tall it was. I think it was just so comfortable. You didn't even really think about it. And these twisties here, the roundabout. Yeah, I can rip it on the highway real quick. Do a little speed test. Got all the CGI. I'm ready. Oh shit. I mean, come on. Come on. We all know that you're not hitting it like that on the Scout. Probably the Sportster, but you're not hitting it like that on the Scout. There's no way. That 1200 was like ridiculously underpowered. I just like how it just picks up so quick. You don't even realize how fast you're going up until like you look down at the speedometer. And because it has the mid controls, it makes a lot more sense. You know, coming from driving a sport bike, you can really bubble down and like get the extra aerodynamics and stuff, make you go a little bit faster, get a little speed boost. This curve, let's see what we got. Hit this curve right here. Yes, sir. Woo! Yeah, see? And that's another thing too. So another thing I wanted to talk about, I just didn't really think about it up until just now, because, you know, we're doing it right now, is the lean angle. The lean angle on the Scout is nothing compared to this bike. Not even close. And for me, like personally, the best part of riding motorcycles is like hitting corners. And I'm just kind of glad that I didn't have to sacrifice too much going from the Katana to this bike, because I think the Katana does beat this bike like a little bit, but not by like a whole lot, but definitely a little bit. But like this bike still feels like almost pretty much the same, if not maybe a little bit more comfortable, because I feel safer being lower to the ground, if that makes sense. But overall, I don't think it's not really a bad thing. I think you know, it works out for me, so I'm not gonna complain too much. Getting dark. But eventually I did want to go ahead. I saw online that I could go ahead and like rent out bikes from Foxborough Mounds, which is like very close to where I live, or that's like my closest like big dealer in this whole area. It's not even in Rhode Island, it's in Massachusetts. I don't think Rhode Island even has one. But I saw that you could actually rent out some of their Triumphs and some of their Indians. I wanted to, because I already like drove the Scout, so I'm not gonna drive like another. I'm not gonna rent out another Scout. But I did see that they had the Chief, and I really wanted to ride that, only because I couldn't afford it. I think that Chief is like 18-ish, somewhere around there. And I was wondering how much more better is the Chief than the Scout. I hope I don't get disappointed again, because I was really disappointed in that 1200 they had there. Yeah, it wasn't good at all. Okay, I guess another thing that we haven't really like even gotten to this in this video is the stuff that I don't like about this bike. And honestly, I don't really think that there's too much to say about like what I don't like, because for the most part everything that this bike has works out, you know, well for me. I don't really need anything else compared to like what other bikes have and what their stats are. I guess one thing I could really complain about is there's like a weird speed wobble when you hit anything above 80 miles per hour on the track. Definitely not on the main roads here, because I definitely don't go dangerous speeds on the highway. I watched a couple videos actually, and a really good like YouTuber, his name is Life of Birch, and I watched a lot of his videos, and he has a lot of good information on the Rebel 1100, because I want to say it was his first bike or his second bike, but it was his first bike featured on the channel. So before it, when I bought this, and I bought it last year during March when you couldn't really ride because it was like too salty and too cold and shit, I was watching a lot of his videos, and I want to say it had something to do with like the tires or something, because they're not like sport tires, they're touring tires. But my next set of tires is definitely going to be the Metzlers there. Definitely want to get rid of that speed wobble at those higher speeds. I don't want to fall off my bike, especially since I'm not a gear rider. So I just got my Panda Dunks on and my t-shirt and my jeans. Another thing I could say probably that I don't like about this bike, I guess just to complain, just cause there's no like GPS. So like it has all the technology for the most part, but the one thing that I really did kind of want, and it, you know, it's not the end of the world because I still got my phone and stuff, it's just the GPS. It would have been really nice to like not use my phone. And I've seen these cars, or these new bikes, they got the Apple CarPlay. I want to say that the 2025 version actually has Apple CarPlay, which I was super surprised about. But like, imagine how cool that would be to have the GPS and the Apple CarPlay. I wouldn't even need this RAM mount. I could just, you know, put it in my backpack as I'm driving. But on the other side to that, I think that the new display looks really stupid. And what I mean by that is it doesn't really fit the bike well, because the headlight is circle, and then these, and I really did want to get like the bar end mirrors, but these mirrors are circles, so like it makes it weird that you'd put a square here instead of another circle, because it kind of just like destroys it. Or like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like, you guys understand though. I don't know, it's just like a different shape compared to like everything else, so it doesn't really match the bike. Probably the best way I could probably explain it. But, you know, it's pretty cool though. It would be nice to have, just, you know, have all the features. that the other bikes are putting in now, and for the same price too, which is cool. So like if anybody wanted to get like the 2025 version of it, that'd be pretty cool. You know, I was super curious because I heard that the 2025 version too, they boosted up the mid controls a little bit, so they're like more ahead and they're not as like back, I guess. So I wonder if it would still be comfortable even though that they're not like the mid controls that I have on my bike. What the hell is the guy doing? Mowing the driveway. Let's see. What else can I complain about? I don't want to say like have this bike shaft driven, only because I feel like the chain makes this bike so much more better and makes it like so much more responsive compared to like a shaft or a belt driven motorcycle. The only thing that sucks is you have to like, you know, service it every so often. Is that another Rebel? Hell yeah! That's what's up. Oh boy, I had the bar end mirrors I was talking about. Oh shit. Almost done my shit right here. But it's whiskey throttle bit right there. So scary. But anyway, belt driven, yeah. So I don't want to like include that in the list because I think chain driven bikes are more superior compared to the other variations of them, compared to the belt and the shaft. So we're not gonna put it there. But yeah, I mean, there's really nothing much I could really complain about. I think the power is good. The nimbleness is like probably one of the best features of the bike because this bike is way more nimble than the other two cruisers that I had in mind. And then all the technology features that it has. And number 4 is this bike is a lot more comfortable too compared to the Indian. I've never driven the Harley though, but like if they ever had like a demo run or like you know, one of those like you could test the bikes out and ride them for a little bit, or even if they had like a rental for them, I would love to take that bike out, just see if it's like if it could even compare to this bike. I have seen clips, it looks super fast compared to even this bike, but I'm not 100% sure if that's, you know, true. You can't really say for sure. But it did look pretty quick though. And I know, oh, so okay, so that's another thing I could probably complain about. There isn't much of like a aftermarket to these bikes, the Rebel. Like you can find like good slip-on exhaust. I haven't seen any full exhaust besides one that I've seen that's like in China or something, or like Indonesia or something, and they have the full exhaust, which you know, super cool, like super loud. It sounded nice, like no issues. It just sucks that like you can't get it, or there's no like market in the United States for it, or you know, like it's just not available here. You have to be in Indonesia or Japan or wherever they make it. Same thing for like cosmetics and stuff. There's not a lot. I know Burley Brand makes a whole bunch, and then they have a whole bunch on Amazon, eBay, and like cheap generic ones, but like they don't have anything like high quality. A lot of the stuff that like Harley has and Indian has a whole section, aftermarket, you know, OEM or whatever you want to call it. that you don't even need to buy from the aftermarket. You could just get it straight from Mom's or whatever Indian dealer that they have. And actually, you could just pay for the upgrades and pick it up with the stuff on it before you even buy it. They'll just do it for you. So it kind of sucks that like Honda doesn't do that. Like I wish that they did, because I feel like there's a lot of money. Like there's a lot of money in there, and on top of that, these Rebels are kind of hard to find. They're not super easily found. Like, if you ever try to like look for like a used one, I mean, I don't know about anyone from like a different area, but I know in my area you really can't find any in this whole entire area. So I feel like, you know, if Honda made the option to like put stuff into the bike or make aftermarket parts for it, I think it wouldn't be like a lost cause to do it, because I feel like a lot of people would buy it. Because personally, I would prefer to put aftermarket OEM stuff from Honda instead of like, you know, stuff that's not guaranteed to fit all the time. But I mean, it would be super cool if they had like different styled bags, because there's only, you know, one type of bag that you could get, and there's only one type of seat that or two types of seats that you could get, and the other option comes in 2 different colors, but you can't really like customize it like you can in a Harley or an Indian. It would be nice if you could like just make it like carbon fiber. I don't know, just spin some ideas that they got there, different grips and different mirrors, different shifters, different, you know, foot pegs and stuff like that. Like, it would be cool, like, you know, just add it onto the bike before you even buy it and just pick it up like that. You know, I thought it would be cool. Who knows, maybe one day they'll set it up. Another thing too, you never really see videos on this bike either. They market the Fireblade a lot. They had the new Hornet that just came out, which I think is pretty sick. They have like CB 650s and stuff like that, but I never really see like them put out like a commercial for this bike. I never really, you know, never really see it anywhere. Another bike too is a Fury. I never really see any videos about that bike either. They still make that one, and you know, I feel like if they market it better, people would probably be more like opted to buy it. Especially like if you could get it on sale compared to getting a Harley or Indian or you know, Yamaha, because Kawasaki and stuff like that. It's, you know, too bad, I guess. Glad that I finally got the courage to make a moto vlog. I've been dying to do this for a long time. I hope my audio is still good. I'd be pissed if I go in my house, load it up on my computer, can't hear shit. Got trolled by DJI. Let me go straight. Or I probably could have went over there. It's all good though. End the video real quick. With that being said, if you guys want to like just throw anything in the comments, if you have any questions, any suggestions for like new videos or anything you want to say, or you could just, you know, say hi, whatever you want to do, let me know in the comments for sure. Let's see. Whoop. But anyways, yeah, that's it for today. Like I said, if you guys want to see any more content like this, I know I posted a lot of commentary videos and not too many videos of me talking, but I do plan on making more videos of me talking. Definitely any suggestions, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.